Hi everyone, my name is Maor and welcome to my channel. In this video, we're going to discuss and I'm going to give you an exercise on how to cleanse your own karma. In other words, how to disengage from all those connections that you have to different people, different experiences, different responsibilities that you're going to have to take in order for you to be completely clean of everything that you've endured so far. Those heavy rocks that were, clinging onto your shoulder, those things that are heavying our human experiences, all of those things can be left in the past. So stay tuned. When we're talking about karma, first we have to understand that the game of karma has changed in some way. What we're actually talking about are a few principles that we have to understand before we can actually commit to this type of exercise. The first thing is that the responsibility of forgiveness and the energy of forgiveness is not for the other side. In other words, the energy of forgiveness is for ourselves. When we forgive somebody else, they don't have to be a part of that. It can be something that we can do in the astral plane. It can be something that we can do in our imagination. Because that energy that resonates outside of us, when we have forgiven, when we no longer blame the other person responsibility for making us endure some sort of pain, negativity, trauma, or heartbroken, or stuff like that. You have to think about it this way. Every time we create a connection with someone, every time we have sex with someone, every time we hurt someone or have some sort of relationship with somebody, there is a very, very, very small string of light that connects our heart with their heart forever. In other words, we are connected to them forever. That also means that when we keep on hanging on to different stories that we tell ourselves, different traumas that we continue to experience. For example, if I ask you very simply, are there any people in your life that you need to go through a process of forgiveness with? And immediately your subconscious or your guidance will show you at least one person, at least. Usually it will be an old relationship, but it can also be a partnership. It can also be somebody that was just in your life, or a parent or a sibling. So at least one name. If you really write them down, you're going to see that you have tens of names, sometimes even hundreds of names of little things that you have to fix and heal. So when we forgive, understanding the second concept, that time is an illusion and everything happens right now, we're actually sending some sort of energy wave of forgiveness back to that point in time when it actually happened. And that emanates forward in time until this present moment. In other words, when we forgive for a circumstance or for a specific person, or to ourselves, which is the most important one eventually, because everything is a reflection of ourselves, then that course of time actually changes. Time shifts and we create a new present moment, much cleaner than the trauma and the karma, or however it is that you want to call it, that was before. So this exercise is very, very simple. And again, the concept is that time is an illusion. Everything happens in the now, so I can heal something that happened in the past and create a new timeline. And the second concept, of course, is that when we forgive, we assume full responsibility and we don't have to have the other person present when we're doing that. So it goes like this. You can do this in your imagination. You can do this right now just listening to me. You can do this by yourself later on, because when we do the processes, the pranic initiations that we know we have to clean everything in our past in order to become the butterfly that we are today, we usually do this several days. The minimum is about 3 hours. We will begin with ourself, and I'm going to teach you the template, and then you can go and do it by yourself. In other words, with other people. So we imagine that we're sitting in a very, very comfortable room. In that room, there's only us and a sofa. In front of us appears a person. Now, this can be someone that we need to go through a process of forgiveness, but for this exercise, we're going to start with ourselves. So we appear in front of ourselves, sitting on a very comfortable sofa in a place that's very safe for us. And we begin by asking sorry from ourselves. In other words, I look at this person and I tell you, I'm very, very sorry for everything that I might have done to you. Everything that I've done consciously or unconsciously, directly or indirectly. I might not have been aware of what it is that I was doing back then. Now again, when we're doing this with another person, sometimes it's hard for us to imagine that there is something that we need to be forgiven for, but we might not have known everything that had to do with it. You know, it's sort of like having a car accident. Usually there's more than one fault when there's a car accident. Usually there's two parties involved. So even if it's hard for you, you are the first that initiate the apology. You are the one that comes to heal this karmic cleansing or this karmic event. So you say that you're sorry, and then you imagine that they do their best to forgive you. In other words, they're doing their best. You can really see it. Sometimes it will be easy for them, sometimes it will be hard. Sometimes it will be hard for you to ask for forgiveness. Sometimes it will be hard for you to even conjure up a person that has hurt you, maybe sexually molested you, maybe abused you as a child, because you don't really want to forgive. You want to hang on to that story, okay? So when they are done forgiving you, it's reverse. They ask to be forgiven for everything that they might have done, directly or indirectly, consciously or unconsciously. And you do your best to try to forgive them. Now, it's not black or white. It doesn't have to be 100% I accept that, everything is perfect as it was. It can be a process that you're doing one time, you're letting go of the big rock, and then a medium rock, and then a small rock, and eventually it's going to be way, way down in your past, and you're not going to think about it. So you do your best. Again, they ask for forgiveness directly, indirectly, consciously, unconsciously, for everything that they might have done to you, with your awareness or not, behind your back or in front of you, and you do your best to forgive them. This person could have done it many, many times. If it's a parent, it could have been all of your childhood. If it's a friend, it could have been over many, many times or many, many different events that you've had to endure that type of negativity, pain, or traumatizing event. After those two things, that you ask for forgiveness, they ask for forgiveness, you do your best to forgive them, even though it can be hard sometimes to forgive someone. I know, it's hard, because we don't want to take responsibility, because we don't have the soul level understanding that our spirit has attracted that person or circumstance into our life, because we actually planned it that way, in order for us to learn a certain lesson. So stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 is thank you. Thank you for being a part of my life. Thank you for teaching me the lesson. Thank you for helping me become the person that I am today. If it's in front of you that you're doing it with yourself, thank yourself, Grab yourself by the shoulder, Give yourself some credit for the amazing things that you've done in this life. And the last part is I love you. I love you as a human being. I love you as another soul. I love you as a part of my spirit family, because even though we had a negative experience in our life, even though I was never there for myself maybe, even though I forgot that how much I love myself, I forgot I am my own best friend, I forgot to be there for myself, and I victimized myself, and I forgot to take responsibility for everything that I did. Even though all these things, I love you as a person. You are an amazing being of light. Thank you for sharing this with me. Thank you for helping me become the person I am today, once again. So again, this process you can do with every person. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer. I highly recommend doing it with yourself in front of the mirror. It's not always easy to look ourselves in the mirror and say thank you, and I love you, and I respect you. Actually, most people will shy away. The immediate thought will be, oh my God, what am I doing? What is this bullshit? No, look yourself in the mirror, in the eyes, and tell yourself that you love yourself until you believe it. That you forgive yourself for everything that was in the past, and promise yourself to be there for yourself in the future, whenever it is that you need, to be gentle with yourself and accepting, to be flexible with yourself. Not always to judge and criticize the things that you don't have right now or what you want to be, but to try to be positive about the things that you actually have. Open your heart to yourself. Once you open your heart to yourself, once you love yourself, you will start loving other people. Once you stop judging yourself, you will start not judging other people as well. When you stop judging yourself, you will see how beautiful life can actually be around you, because it's only you, it's only your perspective. You've put on pink sunglasses and suddenly the whole world becomes more pink. People are more beautiful. So this is a great exercise. We do it again in seminars and in workshops that I teach. We do it for over a few hours and in silence. So we put binaural beats, and everybody kind of lies down, and they just write names of people, and then they do 10 people at a time, 15 people at a time, starting from as early down the path as you can remember as a child. You're just hanging on to memories in order for you to have some logical distribution of events. And when you write a person down, you move on to the next event, the next event. So you're kind of like trying to remember, you know, 5th grade, what did I do? College years, different relationships. Try to open up imaginary photo albums so you'll remember kind of a context of your life. And you're going to see that instead of having only a process of just forgiveness and acceptance, you're going to find that you're falling in love with your life. You're going to remember the ups and downs of everything. The first kiss, the falling in love with someone, a first job, being excited about something, being in school, being in high school, being in college, moving around from city to city, different adventures that you did with your parents, different adventures that you did with your friends, being abroad. You're going to remember a lot of really, really interesting things. So I highly recommend, if you have the discipline, to do it by yourself for a few hours. If not, do it in clusters, you know, 15 minutes here, 20 minutes there. You don't have to go into a full meditative state, but it's really good that you'll be lying down somewhere, no audio or something like that, just binaural beats, something very, very gentle. That's it, my friends. And of course, if you ever want to join one of the, you know, full power, a week and a half long workshops that we actually have to cleanse everything that has to do with our karma and to begin a new life, food-free, addiction-free, much healthier than you were before, and clean in your karma, in your spiritual and in your emotional bodies, you can always check out my schedule online at maor.com. If you have any questions, any comments, any exercises that you know yourself about how to cleanse karma, how to go through a process of forgiveness, please write them down in the comment section below. I love you all and thank you very much for watching me, and of course I'm going to see you in my next video. Namaste.